Hello, it's Jimmy here, the Riley's. Just got here to look at a Subaru, is it a Forester? Don't know, but it's a 2 litre I think, and it's come down to me from a fair few hours away because, in his words, he's brought it to a dozen garages and most of them said they're not interested, and the ones that were interested said they've tried to clean the DPF but they're unsuccessful. Another one said he's tried to remove the DPF but that was unsuccessful. He said he couldn't get it off. So he's come down to me to see if I can sort it out for him. Okay, so this is the Boxer diesel. Okay, inside the vehicle, these are the lights. It's got engine management lights, skid control light is on, and a flashing DPF symbol. Now, nobody's been able to clear these lights, not even temporarily. They've never been able to be cleared, so it's been at a few different places, so let's see if we can get it sorted out. For this one I'm going to use the Launch Euro Tab 3 scan tool, and we're going to go straight to the ECM. Okay, 2 litre diesel, read the fault code, P1496, P1496. So it's got 2 codes for the DPF. I'm going to go to live data DPF and we will select all of those items, press OK. So it looks like we have 30 millibars of pressure at idle. Regeneration is not in process. Engine is idle in there. We'll accelerate it up to 3000 RPM ish. 220 millibars of pressure. So where we're looking for that to be is we want that to be reading a 0 pressure, because if we rev it a little bit, it jumps up in 10 increments. So anything less than 10 millibars we should get a 0 reading. So idle, I want to see that at 0, and at 3000 RPM we want to see that round about less than 60 millibars really. Okay, so talk about the common problems with these. I've mentioned it in my other videos. So all of these Asian cars, Toyota, Subaru, Honda, Kia, they all have the same issue of oil dilution, and if you clean your DPF and the oil hasn't been sorted out, you're going to drive down the road and pretty shortly afterwards your DPF is going to be blocked again. So if we pull the oil dipstick on this, we'll give it a wipe and recheck it. So you want to see your oil level in between the low and full mark. It doesn't want to be above it and it doesn't want to be below it. Ideally you want to see it right around the middle in the center. A lot of people think, yeah, I'll fill my oil up to the full max. It's not the best way to do it. Keep it low. So look at that, your oil level is about up here. Okay, so it's got way too much oil in it. It's up around here and it should be sort of here. So that's why he's having repeated issues with the DPF. Some of that oil needs to be extracted out or do an oil change. Now unfortunately it's a bit last minute, this one, so we weren't planning an oil change, but we're going to clean the DPF. It's already had an oil change, he said. It's had an oil change at the guy who was doing the DPF work on it, but either the guy who's done it has refilled it up to here. He's probably done forced regenerations on it to get the DPF to clean, which is then going to fill your oil up by maybe a litre above where it should be. I think that's what's happened. He's done an oil change, done another forced regeneration, and then the oil levels come back up. He hasn't been able to clear the fault whatsoever, but don't ask me why he hasn't been able to do that. Maybe he hasn't got the right tools, I'm not sure. So if you've got a Subaru or one of these cars, I would recommend that you buy one of these. It's a fluid extractor TP69 model from Sealy or other brands, whatever brand, I don't really care. It's an easy way to get some of your engine oil out. So here's an old one that I bought. That one's brand new. I've just got that as a spare because this one is getting a little bit old, and I'll just make sure I've got one ready for when this one fails. Saying that, I've had this probably 4 or 5 years. I'm gonna get that down in the dipstick. Now we're gonna give this a few pumps and we should see some oil coming up. So So we'll take about a litre of oil out, and then we can top it back up if we need be. Right, taking that oil out, we've got it sitting there round about centre, so a little bit down from where the full mark is. Now if we look down here, that is the DPF down there. Got two pipes that come off it, going over to a sensor over here. We can see that they've changed that sensor, and the one to the right side over here with the clamp on it, that's the one where we're going to put the DPF cleaner inside. Okay, so we're at the DPF sensor here. We've got the clamp with the pliers. We're just going to remove that down. Okay, now I've got that hose disconnected from the sensor. We've got it now connected up to my high pressure gun, which is connected to a compressor at 130 psi. Now this is filled with fluid, and the gun and the fluid is that Launch UK, and we're going to get that squeezed in by pulling the trigger. Now as long as that is flowing correctly, it should go in. If too much pressure builds up, it might blow off. So we're going to hold that trigger squeeze now until all of the fluid has gone in. Now all of the fluid's gone in, just got the engine running. Make sure all of the steam, the vapour has come out of the tube. So we'll wait for that to dry up, and then we'll get it reconnected back to the sensor. Okay, we've got the sensor reconnected back up. We're going to get back inside the car, hold it up to 3000 RPM again, and we're going to keep an eye on the DPF pressure. You can feel the revs creeping up a little bit. It's got a rattle on the exhaust, this car. On the heat shield, I can hear the heat shield rattle a bit. Now what I'm going to do is tell the vehicle it's had an oil change, so the oil dilution is now reset. And we can go to maintenance mode, DPF maintenance, DPF change, and this is going to reset the ash accumulation. That's calculated. Now we can exit there and clear the fault memory. So that's another good thing to mention there, is even if you change your oil, if you don't clear the oil dilution, you won't be able to clear your DPF fault. Okay, that is clear now. Now on these we also have to clear the OBD memory as well. So then go in and check, make sure that the OBD DTCs have been reset. So I'll show you here. You got two, you got OBD and ECM. Now once you've reset those, come back in. We should be able to now restart the car, and the lights are gone. There we go. Now I'm going to take the vehicle for a test drive. Now we can see as I'm taking it on a test drive, it's activated a regen, so we should see that degrees go up to around about 600 degrees there. Okay, so the regeneration is finished, and we'll see what condition it's in after the test drive. Okay, sorry, let me just get those revs back up a little bit. It's moving off where I want it to be. So we've got around about 90 millibars at 3000 RPM. That's after the clean and the car has done its regeneration. So the pressure is still slightly high, 90 millibars. It should be sort of down around 40 or 50, I'd say, on this. That indicates that the DPF is a little bit worn out or a little bit damaged on it. So although the problem is now fixed, how long it's going to last is really hard to say. The pressure is a little bit higher than where you'd want it to be after a clean, so the chances are he's going to have repeated issues with this. It's going to need a DPF replacement at some point soon. But at least we were able to get all of the codes cleared that all the other garages seemed to not able to do. Okay, so successful clean there, but not as successful as you'd like it to be, so it's a little bit of bad news for this customer. He's going to probably need a new DPF pretty soon, and I'll see you on one of the next videos.